Welcome to the UFC 303 Pereira versus Prochazka 2. This is the full card breakdown on what it looks like to be one of the best cards of the year, at least on paper. Hey, shout out to Anthony Smith. And talking about Anthony Smith, it's a shame that Carlos Silva had to pull out of this fight with his injury. I really was looking forward to that fight because, hey, say what you want about Anthony Smith, but the guy's good. If you're not a legit top 10 contender, you're not beating Anthony Smith. I don't care that he's old and washed and been through some wars and some injuries, surgeries. He's a veteran. He has a lot of experience. And I know he is a little bit delusional. Maybe that CTE is already kicking in. But I think he's just really pulling out Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney here, at least on his last fight. Everybody was just like, oh, this guy, he's ready for retirement. He's going to be a broadcaster, commentator. He's going to be great because he's great on the mic. I give him that. But he's also he's still very good on the ring, on the octagon. And I thought that Olberg was going to knock him out because I think Olberg is legit. I don't know if he can be champion, but I mean this is a weird division, so anything can happen, right? And I know it sucks that we're not seeing McGregor like we were all so excited for. But I think this card is a lot better. This card is much better than what the original one was. It was McGregor, Chandler as a headliner, and the co-main event was it Jamal Hill versus Roundtree. I mean, I had Jamal Hill winning that easily. But now we have Ortega and Lopes. Shout out to Ortega for taking this fight. And we always had the MVP fight. I really think that this main event, this Yuri Pereira fight, it's going to be the best main event all year. I don't think anybody can top this of what I think this fight will be. I mean, unless we see a Prochazka Pereira 3, a rematch, that's the only thing. That's the only fight that I can really think that would be a lot better than what we have here. I love these two guys; they're great fighters. I love Yuri. He's probably one of my top 3 fighters in the UFC. And Pereira, man, you gotta give this guy a lot of credit. What he's done, what he's doing. He saved the UFC again. So if this goes to a decision, don't be surprised if he gets another questionable decision. But I mean, that's how it's a close fight. But the only thing I worry about Pereira, it's we've heard it from him that he's pretty much stated that he's fighting a lot and his activity is due to because he knows he doesn't have much time left. I mean, he's already 36. And he's getting his bag, I know he didn't explicitly said I'm fighting for the money, but I mean, he's fighting for the money, right? And he knows that he's probably has 2 years in the tank left. And he's sure as hell making his time worth here with a lot of activity. But that's enough yapping. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you watched last week's video and it helped you out, or you were entertained, or you made some money, please let me know in the comments. I'll see you in a minute. Starting off the night in Las Vegas, UFC 303. We have Ricky Simón versus Vinicius Oliveira. I knew this card was stacked before I went into it on every single fight. But Jesus, this is a great first fight, honestly. We have Ricky Simón, who he was like 8 months ago in a main event versus Song Yadong. Got knocked out there in the 5th round. Was losing the fight. And now he's the first fight of the night. That's kind of funny. But Simón, he's only 31. It seems like he's been around for forever. But I think he's an old 31, if you know what I mean. He has a lot of experience. He's the guy that beat Merab. I mean, he beat Merab on the UFC. But now he's on a 2-fight losing streak. But if you take a look at his losses, I mean, he's losing to top guys. Like, legit top 12 contenders in the bantamweight division. And he's never lost 3 in a row. Okay, so if he loses Saturday, this will be the first time he's lost 3 in a row in his career. The thing with Simón is he has a great gas tank, great cardio. His striking has a good jab. His striking has gotten a lot better than when he started in the UFC. He's just a wrestling boxing guy. But the thing with Simón is I just don't see him wrestling anymore. Even in his fight with what's this guy? The guy from Wales, Jack Shore, where he got the stoppage. I don't know if it was because of Jack Shore has very good takedown defense, but even in his some of his fights, I know he went 3 action-packed rounds with Mario Batista. But I don't think he can get the takedown. I don't think he's that very good at taking people down. I mean, we see a lot of times he just shoots and can actually get the fight to the ground. He immediately goes for the body lock and just clinches against the fence. But he's just a guy that won't fuck off. You know, he's just there. Good. He's good at chain wrestling. Has a very underrated jiu-jitsu. Black belt. He's tough. Has a good chin. Maybe. I don't think his chin is as good as before, but he's still tough. His path to victory here, I mean, it's just take the fight to the ground. And I think the only question for Ricky here is is he going to respect Oliveira's power? Because that's pretty much all he has. Will he be hesitant to shoot for the takedowns? Because we've seen Oliveira has very good knees. and he has legitimate power for the division. I think Simon will be stronger here. So, bigger. He's definitely has a wider back, and he's for sure the stronger man of the two. And Oliveira, he's a contender series guy. This will be his second fight in the UFC. He's a very aggressive striker. He's athletic, has some talent, and the guy just swings for the fences. He's tall, and he's big. He's big for the division. He emotes. He has those flashy counters, and has a lot of knockout highlights on his resume. He's out of his 20 wins, 16 are by KO. He was supposed to fight the guy that's fighting Talbott on this card for his debut. I think that was back in March. So that tells you a lot of what the UFC thinks of him and what they think Talbott will do to Yanis. On Saturday, he's coming off a debut win versus a 23-year-old, a very small bantamweight on short notice. And he was kind of getting dominated for a round and a half. I don't think he has a very good takedown defense. I think he's terrible on the ground. And at the end of the day, he's just a striker with a lot of power. We see he leaves his hands down. He's very confident on his power. And I just think he relies too much on that. And a lot of times he's just looking for that knockout highlight instead of just fighting. He throws bombs and he's open to counters. Okay, Simon is a very good boxer. And I just think that Simon can take this guy down. I don't think he'll be afraid of Oliveira's power. So I'm going with Simon, and I think he can get him out. I think he gets a late second round, gets the fight to the ground. I think he can submit him because I don't think Oliveira jiu-jitsu is that good. So give me Simone by second round submission. And for the betting angle, I love this fight to not go the distance because I think Simone can finish him on the ground, either submit him or with a ground and pound. And Simone can get clipped by Oliveira. There's a world where Oliveira knocks him out, and I think a lot of people are expecting Oliveira to get the job done here by KO. I just think this is a huge step up in competition for him. And Ricky Simon is good. He's been around for quite a while. I think he has 12, 13 UFC fights. This is too much too soon for Oliveira. I know there's a chance where he gets a highlight reel finish. I just don't see it. I really don't. So give me Simone by second round submission and fight not to go the distance. We move on to the flyweight division. Carlos Hernandez versus Ray Tsuruya. Hernandez, a big underdog here, almost 4-1. 30 years old, coming off a loss to Pereira, who looks like he's going to be the future champ. He's 2-2 in the UFC. No shame in his 2 losses, I mean, the guy lost to what's this guy? What's this Brazilian name? It's not Almeida. I don't remember, but the guy's a stud. Tyra will probably be the champion. And Hernandez has good boxing, good fight IQ, throws good combinations. He just doesn't. He throws more than just the 1-2. He throws 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. I like that a lot. He's very hard to control on the ground. He's a great scrambler. You can take him down pretty easily, but he just pops right back up. He's kind of small for the division. He's got a tiny frame, but he has a huge head. So, I mean, kind of hard to knock him out. Doesn't have a lot of power, but throws a lot of volume. He puts the pressure, and he's not just a pushover you can just bully. You will lose to Hernandez if you're not on your A game. He's a very tough UFC fighter with a deceiving record. I think he's a lot better than not only his UFC record, but his record in general. And he's going up against a 22-year-old Tsuruya, undefeated. He is the winner of the Road to UFC. He's making his debut on another country. Huge stage on International Fight Week. Las Vegas. This is probably the best opponent he's faced in all of his career. He's still young. And we do not know how he will react to all of this. He's just a kid. Has a wrestling background, slick jiu-jitsu. He's fast. Not very technical like a Tetsuro Taira, but I think he's faster. But I think he rushes everything once he takes the fight to the ground. So I think Hernandez will be able to get back up. I don't think he can control Hernandez on the floor. And I think this line is stupid. No way it should be, no way Tsuruya should be a minus 400. You're pretty much saying that he's Tyra 2.0, and he's not. Tyra's striking is amazing. And I don't think this guy has a very good striking. So, give me Hernandez here to pull the upset. I think this is pretty easy for me. I like Hernandez a lot. And Tsuruya, I don't think he's ready. I think they are rushing him here. And I don't like his striking. I don't think he can control Hernandez on the ground. He has some mean ground and pound, but on the feet, I don't think this guy has hands. So give me Hernandez by decision. Betting wise, how can you not take a shot with Hernandez money line? I think it's up like plus 350, or probably even more. I think some money is coming on Hernandez, so it will probably close around plus 300. So I think you bet him now before the line keeps dropping. But even then, I mean, if this was Hernandez plus 200, I would still play Hernandez. I think he's the better fighter, more experience, better striking, and yeah, you can take him down, but he gets back up. This is pretty simple for me. Hernandez to pull the upset. We move on Okay, here, what I want you to do after the judges announce the victory of Hernandez, I want you to get up the couch, get up your chair, get off your bed, go for a 30-minute run. Go grab yourself some popcorn, make yourself some nachos, a burger. Go play with your kids, because these next two fights are going to be awful, terrible, low level. I mean, we have a heavyweight matchup between Arlovski, 60-year-old man, versus Martin Buday. And then we have the Karate Hottie and Jalen Robertson. Just take yourself a 30-minute break and thank me later. But back to the breakdown. Arlovski, I mean, what are we doing here? Why is this guy still in the UFC? This will be his 60th, 6-0 professional MMA fight. Guy has like 40 UFC fights. But honestly, why is he still here? How is he still getting these contracts? Last time this guy got a finish, 2015. Last time he got a submission, I was in kindergarten, okay? This guy debuted a few years after I was born, okay? I'm sorry, a few months after I was born. Okay, so he's 60 years old. Chinny, has always been chinny. He's slow. If you land a big hook on him, he's done. He's just there not to lose. He's standing there, moving. Looks like he's about to do something. Then you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. He never does anything. Doesn't throw more than a 1-2 or a jab. He's steady on the outside. Lifts his chin up when he steps back. I do not see a path to victory. I mean, how can you win a UFC fight doing this? For 15 minutes. No judge is going to give you a fight. Okay? Martin, he's looking to start another winning streak here. He's coming off his first loss in the UFC after a 4-0 start. Got the brakes beaten off him by Gassiev. I don't know how to think. I don't know how I feel about that. He's a BJJ guy. I'm guarantee you the commentary team will mention at least once, if not 2 to 3, 4, maybe 5 times. This guy was a pro gamer, was pretty much 400 pounds, sat on his ass all day for 20 hours playing video games in front of his screen, got into jiu-jitsu because he wanted to lose some weight, and now he's here in the UFC. That's the heavyweight division in a nutshell. I mean, you could just be a slob piece of lard, play video games for 20 hours a day, lose 100 pounds, get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I know he's a black belt now, but get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and start a professional MMA fight. A couple years later, you're in the UFC. This guy, he looks to get to the clinch. That's where he does his best work. He'll just walk forward and eat shots. Arlovski doesn't have anything that can hurt this man. So he will get to the clinch and beat the brakes off Arlovski for 15 minutes. I don't think he can get a finish. He has good knees and good elbows once he's on the clinch. And the guy's got good cardio. I'm not I'm not sure if you can say that he has good cardio or he just knows how to manage his energy. I'm leaning towards the latter. If you're betting or Buday, I mean, you can put him on parlays, I guess. But if you're betting him straight up money line, just wait for him to lose the first round. He always starts slow. All of his UFC fights, he had terrible first rounds. But how is Arlovski going to win the first round, right? Do not ask me that question. I don't have an answer for that. Guy's got good movement, good defense. And the guy's huge. He will have, 40? At least 40 pounds on Arlovski here. Will be the bigger man, the younger man. As crazy as it sounds, he's probably the faster guy here. Jesus, just give me. I think this fight goes the distance. Give me Buday by decision. Betting wise, just this fight's going the distance. I don't think he finishes Arlovski. And what is Arlovski gonna do? I mean, the only way this fight does not go distance if we get a DQ or I don't know, an eye poke and a guy can continue a clash of hits maybe, but yeah, just take Buday by decision and fight to go the distance. Next up, we have the karate hottie Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Jillian Robertson. This fight was supposed to happen in 302, got rescheduled, and now we're here. Waterson is just 6-8 in the UFC. She's on a terrible run, 4-fight losing streak, and you would think she's fighting for her job here. She's a good striker, has that karate style, a lot of kicks, good front kicks, but she telegraphs all of her kicks. You know when they're coming. She's small, she's undersized. The bigger cage will benefit her in this matchup. Has the cardio, she has the experience, has been in some wars, has been to a lot of 5-round fights. And if she just keeps this fight on the feet, in and out, rotating around the cage at a distance where she can land her kicks, an occasional 1, 2, 3 punch combination to the body, maybe just like the Baby Shark did, I think she can cruise to a 30-27 here. The only thing that concerns me here is how is she going to look? What is her mental state here after the beatdown Marina Rodriguez put on her last fight? Because she's 38. She's old now. I know she's tough, but how will she look like after that? I think that's a very legitimate question. On the other hand, we have Jillian Robertson, 8-3 as a favorite. She's looked a lot better since she moved to Goshen in Florida and to the strawweight division. She's a big girl here now, and she's good. She has elite level jiu-jitsu, and she looks even better against bad jiu-jitsu girls. And I love that she's a finisher. 7 subs on her record. I think it's 1 or 2 TKO stoppage as well. What I do not like about Jillian is she puts herself in harm's way to get the fight to the ground. We saw, I don't remember that girl's name, where Jillian won by sub, and the girl just was biting her tongue. It was pretty disgusting. And we saw in that fight, the rest was so close to stopping that fight because she will just hold her opponent against the cage and just takes elbows and a lot of punches to the face. Does not protect herself very well. And to be honest, she only has that single leg takedown. She's not creative for her openings. I really question her ability to take the fight to the ground. Although her striking is not terrible anymore as it once was, because it was awful, it was terrible. I don't think it was as bad as Erin Blanchfield, but it was close to that. It's gotten better. I would say still below average striking. But this girl knows how to win, okay? She loses to top girls. Go look at her resume. She loses the fights she's supposed to lose, and she wins the fights she's supposed to win. I like that about her. She's very predictable, has a good chin. She can take the back, on the feet, on the ground, and she's big for the division. Will have a significant size advantage here. So I'm going with Jillian Robertson here. I think she can get a sub. Give me Robertson by third round submission. Betting wise, I think this is a fight where you bet Waterson-Gomez pre-fight and you wait. If you're convinced that she won either round 1 or round 2, or she won both of them, you hedge with Jillian on the money line. You could probably get her at plus money. Or hedge it with a Jillian by finish. But I think that's only if you can see that Jillian takes the fight to the ground. I mean, if this fight stays on the feet, you're comfortable that Michelle Waterson will win a decision. A striking match. Karate point match. I mean, right. So, yeah. Although I think Jillian Robertson will get this up. Late second, early third round. Give me Jillian Robertson by submission on the third round. And you have to bet the Karate Hottie pre-fight here. Starting off the prelims, we have Peyton Talbott versus Ghemmouri. Peyton Talbott, man. The hype train behind this kid. Incredible. We already know all about Peyton Talbott, okay? The guy has aura, great striking, very athletic, good kicks, powerful kicks. Honestly, he just has the perfect style for modern MMA. He will put the pressure on you, stalk you down, counter strike, is so clean, has a granite chin from what we've seen. He will eat everything. On the Contender Series fight versus, he was fighting Tracy Cortez's brother. That guy has power, and he didn't do shit on Talbott. The guy has great cardio. I don't think I've ever seen him tired. He's always composed. Honestly, I think this guy's a genius. I think this guy is a legit 140 IQ guy. And he will just frustrate everyone that steps on the octagon with him. He's fighting Giannis Ghemmouri here, just a kickboxer. He on his last fight versus William Gomez, it was a weird stoppage. But the guy he just wanted to fight it from range, and all he does is throw kicks. He's very low volume. He went the full first round. He didn't throw a single punch in that first round. Okay, not even it. We saw Gomez would rush in, throw a 3-4 punch combination, and the guy just leans back, no counter punching. This guy doesn't have any hands, doesn't have a good cardio. The only chance this guy has is if Talbott knocks himself out. And it's possible. It is possible that he knocks himself out with a backflip. We've seen him do backflips on the octagon before. That's his only chance. He's not taking Peyton Talbott 0. We know Talbott is not retiring undefeated. But this is just not the guy. This guy is a quitter, okay? My prediction here is Talbott by first round KO. Everybody says that he always starts slow, and we saw on his previous fight versus Simon, who I think it's a 1,000 times much better UFC fighter than Ghemmouri. Ghemmouri's not even UFC level. He almost took him out in the first round. I think Simon was just so tough. A lot of people would have quit in his position. I think Giannis definitely would have quit. I think he breaks him in 2 minutes. Give me Talbot by first round KO. On the betting angle, just take up Talbot by KO. I think it's minus 200. That's a lock. Honestly, that is a lock. Or you can just take the first round knockout at a decent plus money. Next up, we have Charles Jourdain versus Gene Silva. Jourdain, the Canadian, French-Canadian, sounds like Frenchie from The Boys. Jourdain, I think his record reflects exactly what he is. He's a solid, good all-around MMA fighter. He's 6-6 in the UFC. But you got to give this guy credit. I mean, talk about evolution. This guy is a completely different fighter from what we saw when he got here. He still sometimes makes questionable decisions. Not as bad as before. The guy's got good leg kicks, good counters. He's good in the pocket. Has a very diverse striking. He's fast, has good volume, good pressure, has very good cardio, good jiu-jitsu, good takedown defense. I would say the biggest hole on his game is I think when there's like 20-mile-an-hour wind blows, the guy falls over. He's very easy to take down. But this guy has a nasty guillotine. The issue with Jourdain when people take him down is we've seen him time and time again. The guy gives up his back trying to get back up. His path to victory here is just, put the pressure on Gene Silva and win on volume and optics by decision. I don't think he has the power to knock a guy like Silva out. I think he's small. I think Jourdain is a very small 45er. And Silva, man, he's a Contender Series guy. So this year, they've been doing pretty bad on the UFC, especially on their first fights, on their debut fights. He's coming off a KO loss to the GOAT, Weston Wilson. That win is aging like a fine wine. Silva is very physical, obviously has power, and this guy has power for this division. He's a good striker. And what I like about Silva, it's that he's with the fighting nerds. These guys have great game plans, and their fighters tend to stick to that game plan. Only problem is Silva has a little bit of that tism. So who knows if the fight gets out of the first round, which I expect, how will he look like? We've only seen finishes from this guy. I think he's on 8, 9 KO winning streak. Something crazy like that. The guy will just leave his hands down to lure his opponent in the pocket. so he can take advantage of his power. He's tape pre-UFC and pre-contender series fight. It's god awful. It's dog shit. Okay. I think the guy he fought on the contender series, I don't remember his name. It's the guy from Argentina. I think that kid just the lights got the better of him. I don't think he was mentally prepared for that. And Silva does not like to be the one that's haunted, okay? He's not very good on his back foot. So if Jourdain can just put the pressure on Silva, keep him on his back foot for 3 rounds, I think he could win. My problem here with Jourdain and this fight, I think this fight goes the distance, and I think it would be pretty interesting to see what the judges value more here, because I think Silva will land the heavier, probably cleaner shots. Will definitely do more damage. I mean, I think Jourdain would have to out-volume Silva by quite a while, maybe like a 3-1. So that's the only way I see Jourdain winning here. Because if we see, some close rounds where Jourdain is, moving a lot around, maybe stalking Silva down, and Jourdain lands 25 significant strikes, but doesn't really do much, and Silva stuns Jourdain once and lands 18 significant strikes. Who are the judges going to award that round to? I'm going with Silva because Silva has that knockout power, has that finishing potential. My prediction here is John Silva by decision. And betting wise, just take Silva on the money line. He's still at plus money here. Moving on, we have the pride of Palm Springs, Swanson versus Touchy Fili. I'll start with Swanson here. This guy has been around forever, 40 years old, super vet. Actually, both of these guys have been around for forever. Fili a lot younger. But Swanson he's a super vet with a very impressive resume. Swanson here, he's solid everywhere. In this matchup, the only thing he has over Fili really is he's definitely the better boxer, has the better chin, and has I trust his fight IQ a lot more than I do Fili's. And with Swanson, he has a very unorthodox style. I really like his boxing. Throws a lot of combinations. He's tough, has a good chin, but does not have enough power. I don't know. I know Fili is chinny, but I just don't trust Cub's power, especially not this version of Cub Swanson. He's back at featherweight after his little experiment at 35. That did not go well. And honestly, I thought he lost his last fight. I thought he lost convincingly the first 2 rounds. And then came back. The judges like this guy. And he for sure knows how to steal rounds. He goes 200% the last 30 seconds. And that's a veteran move. He trusts his chin. He puts himself in harm's way, and he's very good at brawls and boxing range in the pocket. The only thing I do not like about Swanson here is that everybody's on him. This is the public's underdog of the week in this card. If you're betting, I totally agree with that. You cannot trust Fili and Andrew Fili's chin at a 2-1 favorite. If you're putting your money on this fight, you definitely have to take up Swanson at this line value. But I just think Fili has a lot more, has more paths to victory than Cub Swanson. His Fili will be the bigger man. I think he's a better striker than Cub Swanson. He's not a better boxer, but all things considered, he's definitely the better striker, has more power, has the better jiu-jitsu, and the better wrestler. He's the better wrestler of the two. Will probably have the speed advantage as well here. I think this is a very tough fight for Cub Swanson here. If Fili fights smart, and that's the question with Fili. I mean, I know he's getting better. He's still getting better. We've seen this kid get better every time he steps in the octagon. But my problem with Fili is his fight IQ, and I'm not really sure if it's just his fight IQ. He's openly talked about him suffering from OCD. And we've seen that multiple times on Fili's fights, that I think he just cannot get out of his own head. He overthinks a lot, and we never really know what's going on inside this guy's head. He will have a massive height advantage. He can just, if he's on the feet, he can keep the fight at range, because he has a very dangerous back leg, very good high kicks. I like him a lot more in orthodox. I love that right back leg. That right back leg throwing high kicks, it's very dangerous. I just don't know if he... I don't know if you can trust him to stay disciplined and don't get into a brawl with Swanson here. He's just 3-5 his last 8 fights. If Andrew Fili just wrestles, he can cruise to a 30-27 or a easy 29-28 win if he decides to wrestle. And even I don't think if he just wrestles, I don't think this fight goes the distance. I think he can finish Cub Swanson. I think he can submit him on the floor. I think his jiu-jitsu is that good. But I just cannot trust Fili here. I was originally on Fili, but I talking about it more as I'm recording this, I just have to go with Cub Swanson. I think he can put on a veteran performance and steal 2 rounds. Even if he's losing those 2 rounds, he is capable of stealing. And we've seen Andrew Fili settle or take off rounds when he thinks he's up. Yeah, I think Cub Swanson, I don't think he has the power. Although Fili is chinny, but I don't think he has the power anymore. Give me Cub Swanson by decision. And if you're betting, you have to bet Cub Swanson money line. I mean, the line it's a very good line. moving on to the feature prelim fight of the night. Joe Pyfer versus Mab, Marc-Andre Barriault. Before pre-tape study, I kind of liked Mab here to pull off the upset as an underdog pick. But as soon as I got into Joe Pyfer's tape, I was like, okay, Joe Pyfer's a lock. I mean, other than Talbott, of course, I think this is the other sure thing on this card. Joe Pyfer is just so good. I know he's coming off a loss to Hernandez, where I thought he was definitely rushed into that main event against someone like the Joker. If that was a 3-round fight, he would have easily won that. I think if they fight again tomorrow, Pyfer wins that fight. I think he definitely gets 3 rounds from Hernandez, if not 4. The guy truly has KO power. He's very clean. He's composed. Has good volume. He's a good grappler. He's a very good, underrated cage wrestling. And he's with the Fili boys. I love that camp. I love that gym. They're very good. And honestly, he's better everywhere. They're very old here. Has good kicks. They're very powerful. He throws a lot of combinations. He's not just a 1-2 or one punch. And Barriault just a lot of people yap about his gas tank out of how amazing it is. I think it's very overrated. I don't think it's as good as we think. He has a good gas tank, do not get me wrong, but his fighting style is just to be the nail for 1 round, 2 rounds. He waits for you to get tired, and then he does his thing. I think if he lets Joe Pyfer hammer him, I think Pyfer puts him out. So if he does that, he will either be down 2 rounds versus Pyfer, or he will get knocked out. And if you look at his losses, the guys that he loses are a lot closer to Pyfer's level than the guys that he's winning against. We saw in his fight with Chidi. Chidi has amazing power for 1 round, and he put him away. Pyfer could do the same. I don't think he's going to rush a finish because he has the cardio and Chidi does not. Imperial, I mean, I think what's his path to victory here? I just don't see it. He's probably better in the clinch than Pyfer, but he's not comfortable on the pocket, and to get to the clinch, he will have to close distance with Pyfer. I think Pyfer attacks him, and we see a lot of nothing from Barriault here. He has a very loose striking style. I do not like that at all. Joe Pyfer, my prediction is Joe Pyfer by decision. And your betting angle, I think you can get a pretty decent number on Joe Pyfer by knockout. If not, just put Joe Pyfer on every single one of your parlays. We move on up to the main card, starting off with Ian Garry versus MVP Michael Venom Page. This is a fight where pre-tape I liked Ian Garry a lot, and after watching tape on these guys, I love Ian Garry here. I know everybody hates him. I honestly, I don't get why. Well, I kind of do. I guess I can see why people hate him, But he's good for the UFC. He's a good villain. He plays that role very well. And MVP is a very likable guy. I like MVP. I think he's fun. I think he's exciting. But Michael Page is not the guy that's going to take Ian Garry's 0. Okay? I honestly think the person to do that, it's just the only person that I think can beat Ian Garry, it's Leon Edwards. Maybe Lal. I think Ian Garry beats Shavkat. But yeah, that's not that doesn't have anything to do with this. Ian Garry, we know these two have a pretty similar style. They both like to fight at distance. They're great at distance management. Ian Machado has very nasty kicks, and MVP doesn't really throw them a lot. But listen, Ian Garry's a winner. He's a winner. Say what you want about the dude, a cuck. But winners win, and he's going to win this fight. The only thing that concerns me here is that he won't have that height advantage that he's used to having. He has T-Rex arms, so MVP will have a significant reach advantage here. And also probably the speed, he won't be the faster guy like he's used to. But listen, Garry has high IQ, always comes with a good game plan, and he tends to stick to it. I like that about him. He's very smart. He's a winner. Okay? He just wants to win. The only thing I saw about Garry that I'm not very high on is that he was not able to finish Magny. Magny was done 1 minute into the second round, and the fight went the distance. And I get Magny's super tough, and if Ian Garry would have rushed that, who knows, maybe he could have lost that fight. I don't think MVP can beat Ian Garry. Although I'll give Page, he's very hard to get. It's pretty, and you can get frustrated very fast. Has that weird karate point style. But listen, he only has that right hand as a weapon. That's all that this dude has. Okay? And you gotta question, I know he's old now, he's 37. He's a young 37, so after Ian Garry beats this guy, I don't want to hear, he's old, and if MVP was on his prime, he would have whooped Ian Garry here. Listen, I think there is a reason why a guy like Michael Page, with his style, waited this long to get to the UFC. Okay, he can have that as an excuse now that he's old and past his prime. I don't care if this guy came into the UFC 10 years ago. He wouldn't be champion. He would have never been close to being a champion, okay? His style is fun, exciting, it's different, I get it. I love watching that guy fight. But he's more of a showman, an exhibition. That's not a winning style in today's MMA. It never was. On his debut versus Kevin Holland, I think Holland underestimated him, his speed, his striking, and I thought his ego got in the way. I know Kevin Holland is not the greatest wrestler, But man, he wasn't even trying to engage in the wrestle. What happens if Garry just clinches and gets this guy to the ground? I know Kevin Holland's I think he has better jiu-jitsu than Garry. And he wasn't able to do shit on the floor, but I just don't see how Michael Page's volume will be enough to beat Garry. I think this is a very easy fight for Garry here. The UFC wants to show MVP that they do not believe he's a true contender. I don't think he never was. This is the guy that lost a bare-knuckle boxing match to Michael Perry. And I'm not the guy to... I don't like to judge fighters off their losses. But come on. This is super simple for me. Give me Garry in a very lopsided fight. I think this is a unanimous win. 29-28, 30-27, 29-28 type of score. And if you're betting, just take Garry on the money line. It's a reasonable price. Honestly, I don't get why this line isn't a 2-1. Next up, MBS, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. I did not watch any tape on this fight. I do not have an opinion here. I do not care about this fight. And this is a guy that I enjoy watching women's MMA fight. I understand it's a completely different sport, and some people may not like that. But this fight, this is just a way the UFC is selling. It's giving us the middle finger. They know we're going to buy the PPV card. We're going to watch it. And they can just throw whatever they want in. People are still going to buy it. But, I mean, MBS, she lost to Pennington. I thought she was supposed to win that fight. She's the meaner girl of these two. But she has an OnlyFans now. She could have, if she really wanted to, she could be the champ right now. And I really, that's my problem here with Bueno Silva. I cannot pick her here because of that. Chiasson is terrible. She has terrible cardio, always fades. But she's huge. She's almost 6 feet tall. Just for the sake of the video, I'll pick Chiasson because I'm not really sure where Bueno Silva's mind is at the moment on his UFC career. I think she's looking past that already. And Chiasson, she's tall, so I'm going with a taller girl here. Macy Chiasson by decision, and do not bet on this fight. Just stay away. Next up, our feature fight of the night, Lionheart Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. Another fight where I just don't understand this line. I mean, how is Dolidze not a 2-1 favorite here? I know with 2020 hindsight, it's pretty easy to say, but I think he's better than Petrino. And the last time we saw Anthony Smith in 301 in Rio versus Petrino was, minus 500, minus 600. And Dolidze here is minus 150, minus 160. I don't know what all the odds makers see here. Anthony Smith, he's a crafty veteran. He's probably the better striker here. Definitely the better striker. But he just does not have a chin anymore. And do you think he'll be able to survive for 3 rounds against Dolidze's power and cardio? Because he's a great athlete. Will push the pace. Is very explosive and dynamic. Has great jiu-jitsu. And I don't think Anthony Smith can submit Roman here, but neither Roman can submit Anthony Smith. With Roman, at first I was leaning towards Smith here, but Dolidze, I know he's on a 2-fight skid, and it seems that luck finally catch up to him, because I thought that he does everything wrong, and he just keeps winning. He finds a way to win. I thought he won versus Vettori, but he's an idiot. Right? He's an ape. He's super tough, has good kicks, very athletic, can shoot doubles. He has great jiu-jitsu. The only holes on his game here are the striking, but Anthony Smith does not have power. And Dolidze just throws overhands and hooks, and Anthony Smith's guard is perfect for hooks. So I think this is a pretty good matchup for Dolidze here. Although I know this is up a weight class for him. This will be his first fight at light heavyweight 205. It's on short notice, and it's a crafty veteran. But I'm not saying that Anthony Smith win versus Petrino was fluky. I was on Anthony Smith on that fight. I made a lot of money betting Anthony Smith that night. But I don't see how that happens to Dolidze. Petrino is not on the same level of jiu-jitsu as Dolidze, so this is pretty easy for me. I think he's getting knocked out. Give me Dolidze by second round KO. Smith can for sure put up a good solid round, maybe round and a half, but eventually one of those big punches is going to land and he'll get put to sleep. If you're betting, just take Dolidze money line. It's a very good line at an affordable price. To the co-main event, we go to City, Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes has aura, okay, and I could not believe that he's not a top 3 aura guy in this card. We have Talbott, Garry, and Pereira. But anyways, I love Diego Lopes. I think he's the little engine that never stops. The guy's a straight killer. He's hunting for finishes. He wants to take you out of the cage. This guy throws very hard, puts everything that he's got to all of his punches. And if you take him down, which you can, I think it's pretty easy to take him down. And I don't even think it's because he sucks. I think he's happy to be on his back. He's very active there. The problem here is if he does that versus Ortega, he's going to lose that fight, whether it's by decision or if Ortega can't submit him. Because Ortega is that dude. I mean, go look at his record. I mean, his losses are Max Holloway and Volk, probably the 2 best featherweights of all time. His other losses to Yair, but that was due to an injury. We saw him a year later turn around and put a clinic on him, honestly, after surviving the first round. And I think this is going to be the key here. If he can survive Lopes's power and striking, speed, because Lopes is the better boxer, definitely, for sure. Although if Ortega can take this to the clinch, because we see him, he punches his way to the clinch. he's not a very good wrestler, so he just won't shoot for takedowns. I think Ortega is better on the clinch. I'm not sure if I can say he's the bigger man, because Lopes is huge, but Ortega is also quite the specimen for the division. And Ortega is super tough, has a great chin. Is not as durable as it once was. We saw Jair dropped him on the first round, and Jair's hands are nowhere near as good and does not have the power as a Diego Lopes. But Ortega Jiu-Jitsu, it's elite. Lopes won't submit this man off his back. Both of these dudes have great cardio. And what I do not like about Ortega in this spot is, what's up with all this talk about fighting at lightweight? That he knows, or he thinks that he's not in line for a featherweight title shot, because he's saying, Elias is already booked to fight against Max, and after Max, there's still Volk, and I'm probably third in line. And he's already talking about moving up to lightweight. I just think that's weird, and I do not like that look at all for him. But you have to kill this man. He just won't die, and he will never go away. I can't see Lopes finishing Ortega in the first round. It's hard to bank on someone to get a knockout, especially against a guy like City. I like Diego Lopes a lot. I think he's a star. He's a killer. Never stops. Has great cardio. I think he can clip him. I think he can get Ortega out. At first, I was leaning towards Ortega by decision. Now that I really think about it, I have to. I'm going with Lopes here. I have to take Lopes. I think he's going to get the first round KO. I think he will be that guy to finally put an end to this Brian Ortega run, I guess you could say. Because he just lost. He's only lost to Max and Volk. That's crazy to me. To give me Lopes by first round knockout. And I'd say this betting line is around -140, -130. I think that's very playable for Lopes. To the main event of the UFC 303, Pereira versus Prochazka 2. We made it. I cannot wait for this fight. Honestly, I love Garry here. I think Pereira, I know he's so technical, so good, has the power of the gods, it seems. The luck of the gods also. Everything seems to go his way. And it's tough going against that, especially with all this black magic talk that Garry's engaging, and Alex is not denying it. We know he has indigenous roots and whatnot, and he's weird. Both of these guys have a little bit of that tism I like a lot. Talk about aura. There's no other two fighters you can put together that have a higher level of aura than these two right now. You gotta pay respects to Pereira for saving the UFC again. Garry's a warrior. He's so fun to watch. He's so weird, unorthodox. He won't die. He's so tough. He also has great power. And he's the better wrestler and probably the better grappler. Well, no, I think Pereira is definitely the better grappler. But I think Yuri can take him down like he did on the first fight. I thought Yuri was on his way to winning that fight. I think he got a little bit too anxious, rushed. He felt that Pereira was hurt, and he rushed a little bit. And give props to Pereira. He lured him in. He wants you in that left hook range so he can put you to sleep. But Yuri, I mean, even if he knocks Yuri down, I don't think he can sleep Yuri. Yuri has incredible recovery abilities. We see that this guy just won't die. The first fight, I guess it was a little bit early, that stoppage. I'm sure Yuri, thinks he could have gotten out of that situation. And I believe too that Mark Goddard made a mistake, and it's okay. I mean, we all make mistakes. I mean, they're humans, the refs. So I mean, whatever it happens. But I think this is why the odds makers have never respected Pereira, and I think it's for a reason. I don't think he has the best chin. And honestly, what does he have other than that left hook? I mean, I think his kicks are overrated. We saw it on the Jury fight the first time. The commentator Joe Rogan, my God, what a fucking douche that guy is. He was glazing over Alex's kicks, and yeah, they were good, but they acting like Yuri was looking like Neil Magny versus King Garry. It was not. Rakic did hurt Yuri. Put a beating on those legs. Pereira did not did that. Okay. I'm sure the commentating team will have you believe on this fight that the first kick Pereira lands, Yuri's done. You can already see that swollen leg. It's red. Joe Rogan and Cormier's also. I can see he's limping. That one hurt him. Can we stop it? Pereira's not going to get a TKO by kicking Yuri's legs. I know Yuri's kickable, but he switches stances, so I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, really. I think Yuri, if Yuri stays patient, I think he can comfortably win a decision, although I would understand why he would not want to go to the judges' scorecards versus Pereira. I mean, we saw him getting a questionable decision victory, and the UFC owes this guy a lot, so I understand it's very tough to go against Pereira right now. He's probably in the, I don't want to say GOAT conversation. He's definitely top 15 fighter of all time in 4 years since. Fucking 8 fights in the UFC is crazy what he's done. But Pereira's old. He's getting old. He's getting up there in age. He just wants to be active because he knows he probably has one more good year. And I don't think he's invincible. We saw Adesanya almost killed him, and Yuri hits a lot harder than Izzy. Okay, I love Yuri in this spot. I think this is a great revenge spot for him. I guess you could worry a little bit about the damage he took on UFC 300. Because Pereira, I mean, he put Jamal Hill to sleep in 2 minutes, and I don't think Jamal Hill landed more than 3 punches on Alex that night. But I have to go with Jiri. Give me Jiri. I think he has to knock him out. He probably gets it done, like maybe round 3, round 4. I'll go with Yuri by round 3 KO. And just bet Yuri moneyline. I do not believe Alex Pereira can keep this run. it has to come to an end. He won't retire as this, what it seems unbeatable guy, but I think we are getting caught and we're being prisoners of the moment, really, because I don't think a lot of people remember Pereira. He was on his way to losing that easy fight, and yeah, I understand that you can also say that that's a great look on him, because he came back. He was down 4-0. But I think this luck has to round out eventually, and I think it's time for him to pay his dues on Las Vegas, June 29th of the year 2024, on the UFC 303 card. I think this is Yuri's time. I think he's a deserving champion of this division. Give me Ghemmouri by first round KO.